Arrest of the first spy of the Cold War, Klaus Fuchs, who gave the West secrets about a new atomic bomb to Moscow.
He was sitting in my living room when the news came through of the Russian bomb. And my husband said, well, there must have been some intelligent leak, because if they had only gone by the book, it would have taken them another 10 years. And they were all arguing it, and he was arguing it with them.
I'm Louise Hidalgo, and I've been listening back to the BBC archives and talking to Klaus Fuchs' nephew, Klaus Fuchs-Gutowski.
In the beginning of the confession, he says that as children we were always educated to follow our conscience. So in his understanding, he did not wrong, but he feels that he betrayed his friends.
Hear more in Witness. And if you miss it on air, listen online at bbcworldservice.com/witness. A reminder of our top story here on NewsHour. Chadian troops have launched a ground operation inside northeast Nigeria against Boko Haram militants in the wake of the horrific incident a month ago in the town of Baga. Here's what an eyewitness told our correspondent.
The number of dead bodies, to be honest, was really unaccountable. The soldiers threw away their weapons. Some even threw them onto the water and on the ground. The vigilantes took the weapons and were firing back, but they found the situation overwhelming and also fled.
Other headlines this hour. The International Court of Justice has ruled that neither Serbia nor Croatia committed genocide during the Croatian War of Independence. British MPs are to vote on whether the UK should become the first country to legalise the creation of babies using the DNA of 3 people. You're listening to the BBC, coming to you live from London. I'm Razia Iqbal, and this is NewsHour. Now, I think this next item has to be a first, for me at least, an interview with a high priest who promotes faith in the Norse gods. Hilmar Örn Hilmarsson is at the helm of an organisation which has been doing just that, and as a result, Iceland is to build its first temple to Norse gods in 1,000 years. I spoke to him before we came on air and asked him, as the high priest, what he believes in.
Well, it depends on the time of the day. I mean, I believe 5 impossible things before breakfast, and it depends on the occasion. I mean, I can believe in the god Odin when I need wisdom and inspiration, and I can believe in the goddess Freya in matters of love and the heart. So in a way, it's basically a religion and a worldview that changes with you. I mean, even during the year or your lifetime.
Right. So there's been definitely a huge upsurge of interest in the association, and the membership has tripled in the last decade. How do you account for that? Why do you think people have become more interested in neo-paganism?
Well, I can certainly answer for Iceland. I think what's happened is that we've slowly become more visible, and people stopped seeing us as eccentric, I mean, many years ago, and even around 20 years ago, and so we've been slowly moving into the mainstream. Also, what has been happening is that we conduct more ceremonies like marriages and name-givings and funerals, and a larger part of people who come to the ceremonies are not necessarily part of the association, but they see that these are dignified and beautiful rituals, and they have a spiritual content, and they talk to them in a way that they find meaningful. So a lot of people have actually joined the association after taking part in the rituals.
And is it possible to combine Christianity with the beliefs that the association espouse?
Strictly, no, but I mean, we've always been really bad at religion in Iceland. I mean, we've been brought up, most of us, with what is called mild Christianity. I mean, we paid lip service, and we thought that there are many good things in Christianity, but for many of us, I mean, it didn't really fit our worldview. And I mean, certainly we don't have any problems with Christianity. I mean, we're not anti-Christian in any sense. We have a good working relationship with the State Lutheran Church, and we've conducted many ceremonies together with priests from that church.
Describe what the temple will look like for us.
Well, the walls will be solid rock, and we will actually allow the elements to be free in a way so that we will have water flowing out of cracks and crevices. So it'll be very much alive. And then there's a dome-shaped roof over it, which is specially designed to let the sun in at the certain cardinal points of the year. So the lights and shadows will differ according to the seasons.
You sound, from what you're saying about the relationship with the church and society in general, as though this is something that will be broadly welcomed. Has there been any contesting of it at all?
Yes, there's been a number of people who have been contesting it, but I mean, what they're doing is they're contesting religious buildings in general. So it's basically people who are against religious groups getting a plot of land from the city of Reykjavik.
And what would you say to them about the building of your temple?
I don't really care. I mean, so I don't think I have to convince them. I think we will build it anyway. And we're not taking money from public funds, we're building it for our own money. So I think everybody will benefit in the end.
Very softly spoken Hilmar Örn Hilmarsson, the High Priest of the Icelandic Association which worships the Norse gods. Now, can you guess the missing word here?
I'm sorry, sweetheart. This is the world I'm giving you today. Same thing no matter what you read from Delhi to... I wish it was different, darling.
So if you didn't guess, the missing word was Bombay. When the Indian musician Mihir Joshi released his first music video, he knew it would have to be reviewed by India's Film Certification Board for obscene or offensive lyrics. He wasn't expecting them to have a problem with the old colonial name he gives his native city. Mumbai has been the official term for the last 20 years. We've just heard an extract of that video, which aired over the weekend, and the offending place name replaced with a blank and blurred in the accompanying subtitle. So why is it deemed so controversial? Mihir Joshi spoke to me from the BBC's Mumbai studio. What was his reaction to the film board's decision?
I actually laughed when I was first told by my label that that's the one word that they want to take out of my song. In fact, when they told me that the censor board has removed one word, I started laughing then. I said, are you serious? What part of my song was offensive? And they said that the word Bombay is. I said, you know what, go ahead with it. I just wanted to get the song on television, and the word Bombay is not the important part of the song. The message of the song is completely different. It's about the problems that girls and women are facing in our country, and that was the main message of the song. So when they said that they wanted to remove Bombay, I said, you know, whatever, get the censor certificate and get the song up on television. But
well, why did you choose to use the term? Why do you choose Bombay instead of Mumbai?
You know, I don't have a problem with the word Mumbai at all. My album is incidentally called Mumbai Blues. The only reason I use Bombay is because it rhymed with the earlier, you know, the last word of the earlier line. The first line, as it says, is, I'm sorry, sweetheart, this is the world I'm giving you today. It's the same thing no matter what you read from Delhi to... There you go, Bombay rhymes with today. Mumbai doesn't. That's the only reason I use it. And Bombay is a synonymous word for Mumbai, so it still gets the message across. And I had no idea when I wrote the song about a year and a half ago that this is the one word which would be the reason that everybody would be talking about this song.
Okay, so it was for a rhyme, and yeah. You obviously are more interested in talking about the message of the song. Yeah. Is there a big issue then to do with the politics here? The name was changed because it's a colonial name for the city, and what do you think? You're from Bombay, Mumbai. What do you think about that specific change?
See, not just me. I think a lot of the educated people, a lot of the, well, I would say the normal people here in Mumbai are not very extremist about either the word Mumbai or Bombay. I was born in Bombay and I'm living in Mumbai now, and I don't have a problem with either word. I love my city and I'm happy to be here. And, you know, 10 years down the line, if some other government decides to call it something else, I will still love my city and I will call it what it's supposed to be. So if it's called Mumbai now, when I talk to people in general, I say Mumbai. But this is a song, these are lyrics of a song, and I wanted to use the word Bombay because it still means Mumbai. And it rhymed in my song, and I did not mean it as an offensive thing. There is no politics involved in my song at all, and the message of the song is so far away from the word Bombay that I did not think that the inclusion of the word Bombay would have any consequence whatsoever on the song.
Musician Mihir Joshi, born in Bombay, lives in Mumbai. That's it for this edition of News Hour. I'm back again tomorrow. Do join me then.
Documentaries on the BBC World Service. What can sound tell us about the world we live in? I'm Dr. Tom Rice, a sound anthropologist, and for the BBC World Service, I'll be taking a sonic journey into the Govinpuri slums in the heart of Delhi.
sound is funny. People announce water can't fill your bucket.
Govinpuri Sounds. Online at bbcworldservice.com/documentaries.
Still to come on the BBC World Service.
Later on today, Cliff looks at some of the innovative ways drones could be used to improve people's lives. That's at 19:30 GMT. Next now, Business Daily.
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
It is 15 hours GMT. I am Justin Rolat. Today on Business Daily, we've got two classic tales of success and of failure.
Ronaldo on the volley! 4-0! Ronaldo wanted that badly!
We'll be asking one of the most powerful men in football, the man who negotiated the transfer of Cristiano Ronaldo, about whether money is ruining the beautiful game. And we'll be discovering what it feels like to be one of the richest men on earth and then to lose everything, including your reputation. The former Icelandic billionaire Tor Bjorgolfsson tells us how he managed to claw his way back from failure. Plus, why assuming corruption is someone else's problem is dangerously complacent. That is all on Business Daily with me, Justin Rolat, after the news.
BBC News with Sue Montgomery. The International Court of Justice in The Hague has ruled that neither Serbia nor Croatia committed genocide during the Croatian War of Independence in the 1990s. The judges said that while both sides had committed crimes, they had failed to substantiate the genocide allegations brought to the court against each other. Anna Holiday was at the court.
Croatia failed to prove that Serbia had the intent to destroy the Croats in and around Vukovar. The judge ruled that the deaths and displacements did not constitute an act of genocide. Regarding Serbia's counterclaim that genocide was committed by the Croats during an offensive to reclaim land occupied by the Serbs, the judges said the evidence did not support the claims. Both countries failed to prove that there was an intent to destroy all or part of an ethnic group. At the end of this historic hearing, the judge urged both sides to work together to build a peaceful future.
Chadian troops have entered Nigerian territory in a reported ground offensive against Boko Haram militants. It follows 2 weeks of airstrikes against the insurgents. Nigeria's national security spokesman said troops from Chad were working with Nigerian forces in the town of Gamboru on the border with Cameroon. Abdullahi Kauda Abubakar reports from Abuja.
The offensive is one of the operations launched by the multinational military task force, which consists of troops from the countries that border Lake Chad. The aim is to combat the increasing threat of Boko Haram, who controlled a large portion of the territory in northeastern Nigeria. The Nigerian military says the insurgents will be engaged on all fronts by the troops in order to retake the areas under Boko Haram's control and bring an end to the insurgency.
Israel has demanded the scrapping of a UN inquiry into the conflict in Gaza last year, following the resignation of the man leading the investigation. William Shabazz had previously carried out consultancy work for the Palestine Liberation Organization. The Israeli government spokesman, Mark Regev, said the Gaza inquiry should now be scrapped.
The head of this biased